physiology, just trying to figure out like how are we gonna get a grasp on this out of control insanity we call society. We as a collective. So first we have to figure out what went wrong in order to find out how to get it back right.
Yes, and so many of us are just not willing to do that. Absolutely.
Right. Well, it requires you to come from under the slumber. We are being grand illusion is being played on us. You've probably heard an untold number of times that reference about the matrix, being in the matrix, the mind trap. Well, Earth is a soul simulator, and it's a soul simulator that serves as a gold generator. The sacred secretion of the Earth is the platinum group metals. Whereas in us, the sacred secretion or the sacred secorium is the sacred secretion that climbs the spine and fills the four chambers of the brain. Right? So the same way the Earth have various chakra centers or ley lines that would match up with our meridians and our acupressure and acupoint lines. Right? So the Earth has the same network. The Earth in the soil, there's a chemical that is the exact duplicate of the mitochondria that's in the women. It's a microorganism at the smallest level of anatomy. When you're talking mitochondrial is just a portion of the DNA, but mitochondrial is the engine. So studying the mitochondria, I'm like, holy shit, there's something in the mitochondria called a matrix.
Really?
So, yes. So when you understand that if you want to come in harmony with the environment around you, because we obviously out of harmony or else it would be so much destruction. When you find that balance, then you begin to see the normal that we're supposed to see, we can't see because of misdirection. The same as David Copperfield as an illusionist making the jet disappear. You know that goddamn jet ain't went nowhere. You know it. But we go down there and he's not gonna deceive me, and right before his eyes he deceived you. Holy shit, he's good at tricking me. Already he's gonna be tricked for you went down there. So you went down there with the expectation. When the educational system gives us expectation to be herded like cattle. The 12-step thinking detox program they call public education. It takes 12 years to stop you from thinking. Some of them they can't stop, so they graduate them to college and university.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Thinking, but they got to corral them in. They got to separate the herd and put them in layers.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the research from Tavistock when they was dividing the school into 3 primary groups, where they had what they call Volschulin, which English equivalent would be false schooling. Then they got Realschulin, which the English equivalent for homonym would be real schooling, and then they have academia. The job and the function of each one is different, but they all work interdependent of each other. But it's like a pyramid formula, right? So the majority of people get the false schooling where they give them the misinformation.
Yeah.
Right? The misinformation causes your computer to malfunction. If I can put the virus in to make the exact malfunction where I need it, then you're going to have a conditioned response scenario.
You're absolutely right.
So now reverse engineer the entire problem and we get back to a place called the Tower of Babel. It is the first recorded place on Earth where the languages were split up. Well, if you're looking at what's being said, divide and conquer, right? So where is our security at? It's in the unity and the unified human family against anything that would cringe up on Earth. You know, everybody's talking about us, the Nibiru coming and all this. So who gives a shit if we don't deal with what's going on Earth?
Right.
So they got you looking at the stars for the Anunnaki, right? If you are scientific minded, they'll influence you using the scientific formulas and methods that can be proven.
Right.
You know that the record is too accurate for it to be wrong about the Anunnaki, but who gives a shit when we got all these issues on Earth we're not dealing with? They got you looking to the stars. So while you're looking at the stars, it's slapping you in the back of the head with a bag of nickels. You're being robbed right in front of your face.
All right.
So now for those who are pious at heart, the real good ones, they trick them with religion, artificial spirituality, under the guise of the love and light, kiss my ass philosophy, right? It's another deception in the other direction. They gotta control every aspect of human behavior. When you realize that, then you start saying, how do we put it all back together?
Right.
Right? Because only way we gonna ever come out of the ignorance that will stop us from living like other than humans. Because we're not living like humans. Don't nobody know how humans supposed to live because we're so busy studying everything else that we don't understand the breakdown of the humans come from the breakdown of the human family, the clans, the cliques, the tribes. So you look at how do you stop a disease in the body. You send T cells to attack it, and what do the T cells do? It isolate it. It isolate it. It isolated from the rest of the cells so it can't get no help. And then it execute it. Then it expel it. So that's the same as government shutdown. Holy shit, we got a crown virus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So shut it down.
It's the same like you're talking about with the religions, with all aspects of that. Those are all ways to segregate us, which makes you, like you said, weaker. You're now more vulnerable.
You know, so we don't understand what took place, so we can't fix it.
Right.
Now, if you know history of the planet, you can actually read the writing of creation. And so you read the story about Daniel reading the writing on the water to Nebuchadnezzar. Well, Daniel means the judgment of El, or the judgment of God. So the judgment of God was in the reading of the writing that was written in the wall. Well, what was the wall? You know, it was the walls of creation, the 4 walls of creation. You go and you read Masters from the Far East and the various other books, you find out that they're not all the way wrong in the religious philosophy, but they just think they're more right than they actually are.
Right.
It's the same with politics. Now, when you go back to ancient Egypt, in the Golden Age, the last great Golden Age, and pyramids was built and things of this nature, then you look at what was the difference in the culture of the world at that time versus now. So one way to find out, you have to be able to read what they call the Akasha. Because you can't take the word of nobody living, because nobody living was even there. You see?
Absolutely.
But Mother Earth was there, and she recorded it all. Right? Now, you look at it like little loops. Can you see me?
I can see you. You froze, but I can hear you.
Okay. So it worked like little spirals. Everything is in a loop. So it's like my hair. every little curly strand, you know? And it's, they separate. But if you want to draw more power from them, I dreadlock them.
That is a very visual way of explaining that, yes.
The parable makes the information digestible.
That's very true. Now, I've studied the Akashic records quite a bit, and the information that holds there is so, we go in there for such practical and very minimal reasons. You know, I need to know the right thing to do with work. But you're absolutely right. It holds the history of humanity, of what we came here to do. And that's where the truth is. It's not in what is being told to us. It's not in the things that we can read or see online. It's an innate information that's inside of you that you can tap into.
Now, people used to say, go inside, go inside. I used to think they was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you taught all your life to focus on the external world. Get a good job. You know, get you a PhD in the LMNOP and all other shit, right? And this is how you make it. This is a success formula. But nobody, you have more motherfuckers that got all them alphabets just unemployed than you got billionaires that got it.
Yeah. You have to assimilate, you have to fit in, you have to make friends, you have to get married, you have to have babies. It's all very neat and lined up for you.
Right. So what's the nature of the human? How do we communicate and how do we interact? We pack animals.
Yes.
That's why we live in cities, because it's a big pack. We pack animals. Well, how do you exploit that? You make the pack isolate among smaller packs. You make it sell off. So you create your hatreds and your bigotries and your philosophies and your ideologies. Because the idea is the cancerous tumor. So it goes into all of the hate philosophies. They designed to divide. And if divided stays conquered, right?
Yeah.
So how long do we going to figure it out that if the devil's tool is to divide us, right? If he was a liar from the beginning and a deceiver, right? At some point, we're going to have to figure out the lie and deception that he lied to us about and deceived us about, right? And that his plan is to keep us divided. Why would he keep us divided? That keep us conquered.
Yeah. Basis of duality. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you analyze it and you realize that when they tell you to look within, they tell you to find the I am, right?
Right.
And when you join with somebody else, y'all tie knots, right? Y'all make links, connections. Yeah. So if I am and you and I tie, you put it all together, you find out that we're just the immunity system of the planet. But if we don't join together, we just let it all go to shit. What are we going to do about the kids? Just leave it like this? We all complain about how it was left for us. So what about these little babies that's coming up now? We need to sit here and let somebody else fix it. Who is somebody else?
Yeah. Whose responsibility is it? Absolutely.
Yeah. Whose job is it? Nobody else is trying to take the job. Well, I figure, well, as soon as that motherfucker come along, I'm gonna be ready to help. Right. Did not know I was gonna be the motherfucker most qualified for the job.
Yeah.
I thought I was just gonna be the most qualified help.
But this is the time to do and enact exactly what you're talking about. There's more people that have woken up, however you want to call that, in the last decade than have ever been around before. And whether they're actively out there doing something, they realize something's wrong. You know, the system's not working. That's the first step. Yeah, it's been broken for a very, very long time. But that's the first step in saying, all right, well, how the fuck do I fix it?
You see, people tend to think that you are some type of lunatic, heretic, insane John the Madman, as Khalil Gibran wrote about. They take you to be John the Madman sitting on the soapbox screaming the obscenities of society while they allow the priesthood to run rogue in the background.
Yeah.
You know, but coming to find out John was right the whole time. You see?
So I think the way that they minimize messages like yours is one, there's no proof to it, which is fine, but they don't see the steps. They hear it as just us saying there's a problem in the world, but they don't feel us giving solutions. So what are the solutions to start taking back that control and living as we're supposed to live?
Well, it works like this. We have to know who the enemy is. Who is the one wielding the power? Who's wearing the dark glove on the hidden hand?
That's tough. I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, they rounded them up right now. This is the government shutdowns around the world. Because if the devil gonna try to run us in the hole, we're gonna figure out a way to defeat him. It's just a matter of when, not if. Because what we call the devil is something that's not from here. That's why it's the devil. It's not from here.
Right.
Right? And it doesn't belong here because it doesn't have a temperament consistent with the natural vibration of the tax. What's done, the butterfly effect. I can read the butterfly effect. So what's done in D.C., I can watch the news, listen to the response of the people, and it'll leave a signature fingerprint to read, like a tarot card. And this is what they was teaching them with controlled remote viewing.
Right.
So when they start to put things into motion, I can see it, and it'll play out like a second movie playing in like just out of view in my mind, but I can see what's taking place. You know, so the problem was the blood sacrifices was creating the misery. The blood sacrifices of the children in the manufacturing production of adrenochrome was creating a negative energy signature in the Earth's atmosphere. And it serves like a sedative for the planet. And as long as they continue to make us spill the blood, they can keep us subjugated because the atmosphere will have like a narcoleptic effect. You know, and as long as they keep the blood in the atmosphere and the mothers in grief for their children, then they can't come together as high priestesses and as matriarchs and defend the planet because they're the first line of defense in that conjure. This is what the whole Salem witch hunts was all about.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a very particular episode of the Salem witch hunts when the women would dance and it became infectious with other women around them. They couldn't resist but start to dance and to swirl. Right? That's because the women hive, and when they hive and sink, they were going to wake the earth back up, and that's what they wanted to stop because the earth can switch, oscillate vibrations all the way up to what they call the angel frequencies.
Right.
You know, the varying pitches of the frequency of A. It's the exact opposite of the Om. And it's the aim. This is the alpha. You know, it's the Omicron and Omega in Greek. Right? So when the women understand that they sync, all they have to do is be able to allow to function in units.
So there's a couple notes there, and I want to hear you keep sharing about this. So I'm in a priestess group, and one of the main elements of being a priestess is dance. We open the circles, and then we dance together. That is a huge, huge element of it. And when you're talking about it, I was seeing this vision of honeybees and how they dance to show where food is, where water is. They dance to communicate with each other.
Exactly.
And women are very much that same way. And that resonance that they put out, you can feel that vibration in every element of you.
Right. And when you look at all of the tribes, if you notice, no matter where you go to the indigenous lands, all of the women dance around the fire at night.
Right.
You know, and they have group dances, intersex dances, but it's done for a purpose. to move energy in a particular manner. Only the shamans know all of the intricate details, but the people know that it works.
Right.
You know, it's like an app that's being created psychologically in the mind, a mental app. So every dance move already recorded has a function and a power.
Mm.
No matter whether you think you're doing an entirely new dance or not, you're not.
Mm.
Every move is already recorded in creation to have a particular function. The natural feeling of a woman is to naturally drive the synchronization back to the vibration of Earth.
Mm.
And this is why they have to have women being abducted and beat up and domestic violence and rape, because as long as the women are up, as long as you desecrate the womb, you keep the earth desecrated.
Mm.
It's just a simple interaction of energy.
Right.
You know, the woman's womb is a replica of the womb of the universe that we rest in. You know, so if it's a mini replica, it got to have a different power, because I can't carry no baby in my phallus. It's just not possible.
Right.
If it was, it would be very painful, I tell you that.
Yes, I hear them complain about
I'd be kind of worried about my bounce back game. I might not be able to get my six pack back. If, you know, shit. I might not have that because I'm not genetically engineered for that.
Right.
I'm genetically engineered to make sure that she can take care of the baby so they can grow and prosper.
Mm. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I mean, like, I'm here to help. I'm not here to hold nothing back. So people need to know what's going on, need to understand, you know, they need a more concrete foundation to look at of what's taking place in the world around them. You know.
Absolutely.
There's no base, no spatial recognition, no synchronization with the environment around them. They don't really understand. You never heard in the history of the world that they shut the whole world down at once.
Mm-hmm.
Wake the fuck up. They turned the earth off. That ain't a wake up call for your ass.
Oh my God. It is so surreal. It is so surreal.
Yeah. And they've been telling you it's going to happen. And telling your ancestors it's going to happen. And when this particular one comes, beating on his chest, he going to tell y'all, I'm just going to turn this shit off till you get right.
Mm.
So you'll see that in the aftermath, a lot of celebrities will be rounded up, and CEOs of major corporations, various things of this nature that was participating in child sex rings and sex trafficking of women and children, teenage boys and things of that nature. Some of them are falsely accused in order to see the ones that was actually doing the dirt, because you couldn't see who was doing the dirt unless you had somebody that was righteous falsely accused of the same thing. Then you have a mirror to look at.
Right. I didn't even think about what this would do to the crime rings and to the human trafficking and the drug trafficking if people aren't allowed outside. That's profound.
But think about this. Like, Disney World is shut down now, right?
Yeah.
What y'all don't know is that there's a whole nother city underneath Disney World that's private that was used for illicit sex parties and adrenochrome ritual ceremonies, etc. And it was the same with Disneyland in Florida, Universal Studios. This is where you hear what's the little...
Oh, you got muted again. Nothing yet. Nope. No. Oh, I got you.
Okay, what was his name? The little kid that was molested in Hollywood, a grown man now.
Oh, Macaulay Culkin?
No, not him. He's not the one that's talking. He was on Ellen a couple of weeks ago, talking about he was going to be naming names and telling them who was involved in it. Anyway, all these types of people are going to come out. Like Michael Jackson sacrificed himself and his reputation to bring attention to the children that was being abused in Hollywood. All of those kids was asking Mike to help. He didn't know what to do. Well, if you go back about 93, 92, it was MTV Music Awards. At the end of it, he did what they call a T-pose. The bunch of kids ran out to Mike. And it wasn't 6 months later they was accusing him of the first case. But I had told people when it happened and they thought I was crazy. I said, they're going to start saying Mike doing something to kids. How did I know this? Consciously, I didn't. Subconsciously, I knew something, but I didn't know what I knew. When he beat that last case, I said, Mike got less than 5 years to live. 3 years later, he was gone. You see?
You can see the patterns.
The patterns. Once you start seeing it, it becomes predictable. But his was a self-sacrifice for the children, for the benefit of the children. You see? And so he needed blanket and parents in order to have heirs to his wealth. You see? And so Paris is the heir because she's the girl. But the confusion comes in with blanket, as they call it, and the B is an upside down backwards small P. The small B is an upside down backwards P. So it confuses the one we call the devil because it's dyslexic. It can't tell the difference between a B, a D, a P. You can't tell the difference. So it don't know where to look when we flip it. In different ways, the devil can't tell which one is the heir. And that's why you see the gangbangers, they throw the signs up like this, like this. All the mudras, we're telling each other what's going on. It's a war dance. We war dancing. There's some tribal shit going on. Native American, indigenous African shit. It's some motherfucking Choctaw talking to the Zulu across the land without nobody knowing. We put the motherfucking beat on the drum. You see? The Irish, where did the word come from? Orisha. Who the fuck is the Orisha? The African priests. You know? Scotland, Scotta. Who the fuck is she? The Egyptian priestess. She's from Africa. That's your bloodline. That's the whole point. Just like now, some of the girls that's doing the work behind the scenes now is like little girls, like 8, 10, 11, 12, 15, 14, and they're amazing me with this shit. Like masters already. Because they didn't have any restrictions on what they could or could not do. The indigo children. If they told them that you can do whatever you set your man to do, then you're a magical motherfucker. That ought to be the new greeting between women when they see each other. It's like they're in each other and they say, you know what, sister, you a magical motherfucker. And keep it moving.
I can see the hashtag movement. I can see that working.
Yeah, a magical motherfucker. It's a magical shit going on.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, and it's just, and to be able to read it, it'd be sometimes it'd be overwhelming me. I'm like, this shit can't be real, but it'd be real as hell because the next couple of days I see the result. Yeah.
Well, where's that gonna lead? Very, very exciting time, and I'm absolutely honored to meet you like this and connect with you like this.
make those women feel powerful enough again to just balance this shit out so that the kids go outside without having to have an adult with them every second and every step,
Right.
where we take a village to raise a child again. Just because you see a child doing something wrong don't mean you have to turn the other head because it's not yours.
Right.
And just because you see somebody doing something wrong to a child don't mean you got to turn the other head because it's not your child. We had to look at the children as the future. So we got two options. We can either build on the future or tear it down. And the way that it's being done now, with the abuse of the children and the abuse of the women, we tearing the future down. There's nothing to look forward to under those conditions.
Right.
So if my children is going to have a promise of a life without being in perpetual servitude for their entire life, working their fingers to the bone and can't retire till the couple days before they die, then that's not living.
Yeah.
So it's up to us now. We, in truth, the light workers, it's up to us. I mean, many people don't believe there's a reality to this realm of spirit and its effect upon the physical world. But the light workers now, by having the women learn these earth rights to remind them of where to look. There's older women. There's women in the voodoo culture, in the Wiccan culture, that's been putting pieces back together of what was lost in that area. And because they put so many pieces back together, they know what to do when they have the door open for them to perform without the threat of being burnt at the stake, lynched, raped, and violated in order to keep her from using her power. So that's where we at with it now, is just to inform. All of the legwork behind the scenes is in play. This is an ongoing effort between all of the families of the Earth families. We call them families of the Earth family because we all from Earth. All of the families of the Earth, but we different families, we different tribes. All of these political systems is designed to keep us separated and subjugated. So we go back to our Earth system where we use a whole different setup under matriarchy. They talk about a lot of the different context of what happens at the end comes from old traditions, old ways. Like when you look up the ancient Code of Kings, and then you begin to understand that it's a method. It's a method to the madness. Code of Kings, ways of warriors. It's understanding what's taking place so that you can counter it. So we all took part in playing different roles to play along in order to trap the enemy. Basically, play a fool to catch a sucker. But some of us got caught in playing the fool so good they got to become fools and suckers.
That's the danger of the game, for sure. You forget that you're playing.
Yeah. When you become too attached to being a character in the game, you forget you playing the game. It's the game of life. Board game by Milton Bradley.
That was a great game. With the little stick figures. That was a great game.
Yeah, it's a monopoly. See who wins with the most toys wins.